This video is for Devil Jin's while standing 3, showcasing how to do it, what's useful, and referencing different drills you can take to better your consistency with while standing 3 chains. To start off, we'll explain what while standing 3 is used for. It can be used as a perfect electric setup, can be used to chain, can be used after moves like 3-1, and in the odd case can be used as a good poke. There are 4 main ways to input while standing 3. First one is, I'm pretty sure, you crouch for 6 frames, let go, you press 3, that inputs a while standing 3. The second way is you can hold 3 and input a while standing 4 from forward, neutral, down, down, forwards, let go, 4, so like that. The third way is same way, kind of similar, forward, neutral, quarter circle, forward, 4, so like that. This is the way I use. Obviously instead of 4 you can use 3+4, which I've binded to my R1, so I could do this or that. It works. And the fourth way is as an instant while standing 3 from wave dash, so like this. So all while standing moves have 2 main methods for Mishimas, either from wave dash or as a natural one. The while standing 3 type for some reason makes it so that holding 3 and inputting a generic wave dash while standing 4 or a natural while standing 4 will input a while standing 3+4, as you can see my inputs. And the 3 is prioritized when the game senses while standing 3+4. This also explains why holding 3 and pressing while standing 3+4 works. Try that again. Either way, the game detects while standing 3+4 and the 3 is prioritized and you get while standing 3 out of it. When it comes to connecting while standing 3 after a move that isn't while standing 3, so assuming we're not chaining while standing 3 at the moment, for example from 3-1, there's different ways you can input while standing 3 to get it to connect. I think it's very frame tight, but you can actually get a wave dash while standing 3, like that. I would not recommend that at all after an attack. You can go for a full crouch while standing 3, which is what my preference is after 3-1, or you could go for an actual while standing 3 holding 4, so sorry, while standing 4 holding 3, so for example, that method works, but again from 3-1 my personal preference is to 3-1 into full crouch, and again that's all preference. Some people prefer to do the full while standing 4 method. I prefer to do full crouch. This does not apply for chaining while standing 3s though, so don't listen to this if you're here just for chaining. The full crouch while standing 3 method, I mean, it works after any move that isn't while standing 3, so you can do it from an electric. You can do it after a laser if you want, or after a tornado, so that works, whichever one's easier for you. You can do it after jab strings if you want. Right, it's possible after this as well. I also prefer to do full crouch while standing 3 after double lift kicks. Again, this is all personal preference. For chaining while standing 3, however, the idea of a full crouch while standing 3 or this wave dash while standing 3, they're scrapped. While standing 3 tech has to be used, so holding 3 and inputting while standing 4, while standing 3+4. Chaining while standing 3 requires a dash. Now, the reason why while standing 3 tech even works is because you can dash into a crouch dash, which allows you for a dash into a while standing 3 quite consistently. Isn't as frame tight as say you dashed into that. I don't know if that's possible, might be, but again the tech is better. Before I continue, I want to say that doing triple while standing 3 requires a base level of execution. If you can't electric or you can't wave dash more than 3 times, don't consider while standing 3 chains just yet. Make sure you prioritize your other fundamentals before considering any extra damage things with Devil Jin. If you can't while standing 3 and you can't electric and you can't wave dash and you want to do a while standing 3, don't bother thinking about it at the moment. Focus on other fundamentals, and once they're sorted, then you can consider extra damage alternatives for Devil Jin's combos. Okay, the 2 main methods of importing while standing 3 from the tech is either forward, neutral, down, down, forwards, let go into 3+4, so like that. Now the other method is to forward, neutral, quarter circle forward 3+4 like that. Again, this is all based on what you want, what is better for you, what's easier for you. It might also be dependent on what controller you use. I personally started off with doing the let go into neutral 3+4. I've stopped using that. I now use the forward, neutral, quarter circle forward method. It's just a preference thing. To chain while standing 3, you need to hold 3 during the animation of a move. So as you can see in my inputs, while he's animating while standing 2, while he's going through the animation of while standing 2, I've begun holding 3 so that I don't see a random one of these. So I don't see this. That means I've pressed 3 way too late. I can press it as soon as I press 2. Let go, press 3 straight away. That works. As long as you're holding 3, you're buffering the 3 input, you'll be able to import while standing 3 chain. Straight after pressing 3, buffer a dash for the next while standing 3. So as you can see here, I'm going to press 3 and I'm going to buffer the dash afterwards. So 3 dash buffer. This is because buffering dashes exists in Tekken 8. It didn't exist in Tekken 7, I think, especially from doing electric chain, which is why Kazuyo's 4 electrics into tornado is easier in Tekken 8 than it is in Tekken 7. Obviously it's not easy at all, but it is easier. So thank God for dash buffering. After this dash, practice inputting down, down forward, neutral 4, or your quarter circle forward 4. So dash, quarter circle forward 4, or your DDF neutral 4, like that. Again, both lead to a while standing 3, but this is based only on personal preference. Once you put this together, you'll end up being able to chain while standing 3. So as you can see, I'm going to electric into a laser. You're going to see that I buffer the 3 and buffer the dash straight after. And as soon as the first while standing 3 connects, I'm going to buffer another dash into another while standing 3. So the process repeats. To chain 3 of them has some requirements. What I mean by that is you need to make sure that your second while standing 3 is deep enough for the third to connect. As you can see there, my second dash wasn't deep enough, so my third didn't connect, no matter how deep it was. Most of the times this won't happen, however, it does happen on a very rare occasion. Just make sure your second is deep enough so that your third can connect, otherwise you'll end up in a drop. Troubleshooting some things when it comes to doing while standing 3. One of them is you might get hell sweep. So if you get one of these, this is because, as you can see in my inputs, while attempting to do a while standing 3, I've got a down 4 3+4 input. Now this means that I haven't actually done a while standing 3. I've instead done a hell sweep in a way. When you're still in crouch dash and there's no sign of doing a while standing move, for some reason the game prioritizes the 4 instead, so you'd end up with CD4, and that just means you need to press the 4 or the 3+4 a bit later. Another issue you may get when trying to do while standing 3 is that you get a random down 4 3 input. This happens because either you've attempted to input the while standing 3 way too early, so that's happened because, yes, I've tried to buffer a dash, but I've inputted down and down forward way too quickly. So buffering the down and down forward 3 happens while I'm buffering the dash, if that makes sense, because the dash actually hasn't happened yet. So because the dash hasn't happened, the down forward 3+4 inputs have overridden the dash buffer, and so what you'd get instead is a buffer down forward 3, which is not what you want. Another reason you'd get down 4 3+4 is because, well, you're a Kazuya main. So from electric, if I get this, that's because you can see my inputs, I've gone from dash into down forwards. Now the reason why I mention and highlight Kazuya mains is because they can crash dash from this step, which is input by only pressing forwards. So they can do this, and that would still be a WGF because they're in crouch dash, which Devil Jin needs to press down forwards to go into. But yeah, then what to do is just make sure you better incorporate your ability to press down. Now the next couple are based on the way you input it. So if you're getting fly stance, that's because you've again input the down and down forwards too early, and so what the game's registered is you've gone from not even a crouch. You can see that he's gone down and down forwards in a total of 4 frames, so that's not considered a full crouch. And then you've pressed 3+4, which the game then thinks, okay, he's not in a full crouch, he's going to be standing. You've pressed 3+4, going to fly. Or if you're doing the other method where you press quarter circle 3+4, what you end up seeing is that you're going to morning crow stance. That happens again because you can see that I tried to buffer a dash. I know I've pressed 1F, but let's assume there were 2. Again, the down input was put in too early, the down forward input therefore too early, and so what happens is there's no crouch. You can see there's a total of 3 frames worth of crouching. You need to be 6. So the game's thought, I'm not in crouching position, I'm stood up, I've pressed 3+4, and it's interpreted it as forward 3, because again the game prioritized the 3 over the 4, and F3 obviously that does morning crow. Another thing you might be seeing is that you get a random double lift kick instead of a while standing 3. Now this is because you've pressed 4 or 3+4 much too early. You've pressed it during the inputs, you've pressed 3+4 while pressing down. Obviously down 3+4 that does that. So you'd end up seeing this. Again, look at my inputs, you can see that I've put 3+4 during a down input. A 3+4 needs to be during the F input or after the down forward input basically. So what that means is you're pressing 3+4 way too early. You need to work on that, make sure it's at the right time. That about sums up how to input while standing 3 and how to chain while standing 3. But when it comes to practicing and knowing how to get better at it, there's a certain theory that I follow and that other content creators have mentioned. I'm going to go off the script here. So to put this briefly, better explained by Christian the Lee on YouTube, execution is mainly split into 2 when it comes to fighting games: rhythm and speed. Rhythmic execution is for someone like Lee. Back to loops are rhythmic, they don't require speedy inputs. Speedy execution is for characters like Mishima's. For example, Devil Jin's Almost Perfect Electric from Count 8 while standing 3 requires several frame tight inputs. The FND DF+2, or like Kazuya's Perfect Electric. All executionist combos requires both forms of execution, but will almost always need one more than the other. How does this relate to while standing 3 chains? While standing 3 requires speed-based execution, it has some sort of rhythmic pattern to it too. I can't tell you it's the same as back to loops for Lee because it simply isn't. Rhythm-based execution can kind of be bettered exponentially by constantly watching someone do it. Watching a speed-based execution move happen over and over again only provides a very limited amount of support. Inputting back 2 for Lee at the right time requires you to know when to input a single input, and that timing can be inherited by constantly seeing the timing. Inputting FFNDDFN4 at the right time, while it may help watching someone, these kinds of execution inputs must be developed into muscle memory by experience. What does this mean for the viewers watching this? Yes, I've explained how to do a while standing 3, but some of you may know everything about while standing 3 and just struggle to do a triple while standing 3 chain. In these sorts of scenarios, you've clocked a small rhythm part of chaining while standing 3. All you need to do is further better your speed-based execution with while standing 3. How to do this? Practice. Now you can't just jump in the practice room and constantly mash triple while standing 3 attempts, or you can ease your muscle memory into having a better feel of chaining while standing 3 by doing easier versions of while standing 3 chains. I've made an execution drill list for this specific purpose. This will slowly build up that muscle memory, making the ultimate triple while standing 3 from the harder launches easier to adapt to. So if you're in the said predicament, practice the following drills.